And we are live. Episode number, who keeps track of the PickFu Podcast? And look who we have here.
Hello, everybody.
Sir, introduce yourself.
My name is Brandon Baston. I'm an enterprise training specialist here with Jungle Scout. Hanging out with John today a bit in the Jungle Scout studio.
In the lovely
here
studios. I feel like
Austin, Texas. Yeah.
I feel like I should be. It's very hot here.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier this week. A little different from John's normal neck of the woods from a temp perspective. A little warm in Texas, but if you're from Texas, it's actually been a little cooler than normal, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't believe that. But yeah, guys, as always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Adrian will run that kind of scroll over there in a second, but drop your comments below. Whatever you want to PickFu, we're going to do some live PickFu testing. Whatever you kind of want to talk about, strategy, CTR, merchandising. But initially, what we're going to do is we're going to hop into some. I'm going to have you give me in a minute a random product.
Okay.
And then we're going to show you how we're going to PickFu it.
All right.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to Canva it.
Okay.
And we're going to make it better.
All right.
Cool. So let me share my screen here. Cool. The Boys, new season of Boys is out. All right.
Oh, yeah. Came out last night.
Yeah, it did?
It did. Came out last night. Yeah.
Give me a random product.
Let's go with yard games for kids. Is that like random enough for you?
That's a little too wide. That's a little too niche-y.
Okay, how about outdoor summer games? Too wide?
I'm thinking think of what
Something
another
real
version
specific?
of like an ice cream scoop would
Okay,
be.
something real specific. Let's go with something you want something off the wall or something kind of normal?
Well, something you have in your fridge. No, something you have in your kitchen.
Something in my kitchen. Okay, all right. Let's go with a wire whisk.
Is there another kind of whisk besides a wire whisk? Oh, like a snake. Oh,
there's like plastic ones.
Is whisk with an H?
I believe
or is
so.
it with a
whisking tool for this?
Whisking tool for this. Okay.
Let's try a whisking tool. Yeah.
All right.
So you do have silicone. You've got. I was like you. I always thought, oh yeah, they're just metal. But I'm thinking about that because we got some of those silicone ones, and I'm on the fence whether I like them or not.
Well, isn't that good for like not scratching your pans or stuff like that?
It is, yeah, for sure. If you've got like Teflon coating pants, that's probably the way to go. But I'm an iron skillet kind of guy, so
you know what they call me in New York, right?
Can you say it live? I don't know. Is
Johnny the Don Teflon, because nothing sticks to me.
Nothing sticks to me.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I almost want to say that's probably been trademarked for somebody else, and you might not want to be associated with.
That's okay.
Teflon Don.
I'll be in the rap game pretty soon. So let's take a look over here at some stuff. Right. Look at this one right here. So this product it's a mini whisk. So technically it's a 4-piece set, right? And we're at a $9.99 price point. So theoretically, I'm going to assume, but you know what happens when you assume?
I do.
That this is a China Direct product. I was right. I assumed right. So what happens is you chase price point with something like this, but let's say you're in this realm, right? So let's say we're in the set of silicone whisks. And this is a set of 4, right? How can we make this better? So what I want to do is I want to find another version of this that has like a 3-piece or 4-piece. It might be a little bit harder because they're including like a little bonus tool. But see, what these guys are doing here is what I would consider best practice for something like this. So they're showing the products. They're showing the box behind it. They're showing that it's a whisk. They're showing the benefit of being BPA free. But they're not, one thing they're not showing?
They're not showing, on the box doesn't have the count, but
the count.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the photo, but I would put it on the box too. Right?
100%.
I mean, make it so blatantly obvious that you can't get it wrong.
So let's do this. Let's go back up to whisking tools.
Notice all the whisking tools have an H in it. So maybe we just, when we were talking earlier in the week about misspelling and how you need to be leaning into that with alt text, it's a different conversation.
Let's lean into it. So even better, right? So these guys, 2 different brands. So this is a good example. So this is $9.99 for 2,000. This is $6.99 on a deal from $7.99 for 3,000. But these are essentially the same. So let's take a look. God bless the Arc browser, because we can do this over here. Did you switch to Arc yet or no?
I did. I just started playing with it this week. I'm not functionally efficient with it yet.
You'll get there.
But I'm getting there. But I am really impressed with it. Just gonna say it's really, really nice, very user friendly.
Yes.
I'm a fan. I actually went and told my family about it. They're Apple product users like yourself. So I was like, oh, hey guys, you got to get this Arc browser. And my son was like, what's that? I'm like, oh, just go look it up, because he's 18. So immediately he went down the rabbit hole of, oh, what's this about? And just started chasing all this. And he's like, this is really awesome. So when I go home later, I'm gonna be like, Gabriel, teach me how to use the Arc browser, because you've had a day in it. I'm sure you're a pro now.
It's the goatee for sure. I always like to think of like slogans, like phrases, like better CTR. What was it? Better click through with PickFu. Right. So I always like little slogans with stuff. So I'm thinking of one for Arc. Don't be a narc, get Arc. I don't know that we're still kind of fleshing that one out.
That's a work in progress. We're just working on that.
It's a whip, not to be confused with a whisk. So you can see these two here, right? So let's say, for example, we are the one that's not doing a lot of business. So we have Jungle Scout installed over here, right? So we're seeing 100 for the month, 3,700 units versus 2,500 units. So it appears that this guy may need a little bit of help, right? So if I was to PickFu this versus this, right? It's not a good test, because they're both pretty much the same thing. So typically what you'd want to do with a PickFu test is, ABT.
Always be testing.
That's right. I've instilled that in everyone in Texas that I've met, people at the airport, Lyft drivers, always be testing. But
I have another version of it, but we can talk about that later.
Okay. But something like this, you already know it's going to go either 50-50. It's a very minute detail. So typically you want to start with that versus your direct competition, but it's already pretty basic. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some elements to it for which is the one over here, for the
other one,
for this brand, right? Yeah, we're going to make this brand a little bit better, and then we're going to PickFu them versus the competition and show how we're going to be able to crank up that CTR.
Got it. Yeah, because their hero images they're almost carbon copies. I mean,
there's a minor differences. Like this has some branding on the handle over here, which may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing. But outside of that, I think this color variance over here is not color. I think it's just like glow or reflection kind of thing. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab this here, go to good old Canva, and you just have an Amazon product image, and it's going to build out already that sizing that you need. Click off this, go over here. So we're going to make this a little bit bigger. Are you a Canva user?
Let's say
you could say no. You could say no.
I have, but I haven't used it enough. My wife, she's a power user. She loves it. I mean, for everything. Right, my son just graduated high school. She's like, oh, I've got to put together an invite. Boom, Canva. It's done. Oh, we're having a party. Boom, Canva. Sends it out. So
saves you money.
Saves money. And you get such a better response digitally nowadays, because who looks in the mail for like an invite?
No, everything's a text message. Everything's
digital. So so she's a power user. I'm a novice. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in it, but I'm not. I was more of the Adobe Photoshop era, right? So that's going back.
Microsoft Paint.
Yeah. We're talking. Yeah, it's like
MS-DOS, 8-bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. //
We got Jungle's out saying, love the tagline, PickFu it. What should our tagline be? Okay. Well, you'll have some time to marinate on that a little bit. So while we do this, you got to think about what your, don't doubt it, Jungle Scout it. I don't know.
That's really good. I hope you noted that. Don't scout it. Don't doubt it. Jungle Scout it.
I've already copyrighted it. You have to speak to my attorney.
There'll be a small percentage every time it's used. Just comes back for you.
So you can see here, I just put a random color back here to show you that you can't add elements until you take the background out, right? So what the first thing we're going to do is background remover. It doesn't look much different when it's done, but if I do that same exercise over here, now you can see the background's removed.
Gotcha.
Right? So we do that because we want to add some elements in here. So typically with stuff like this, which I consider commoditized items, you see a lot of these, like basically it comes from China, it comes from overseas. You thought it was a great idea, you slap a brand on it, or maybe not, and then you ship it out there. And then it's really just a race to the bottom for pricing. You're not competing on value and branding and stuff.
Right. And that's not the race we want to win.
No. So what we want to do is we want to add some elements to this, right? So if you don't have a box already, you should have a plain brown box. But what I'm going to show you what you could do is make it a little bit better in a post edit where no one's going to care. Like if you ordered these and you got them in Amazon and it had a box that said 3-piece whisk, whatever, stainless steel whisk.
Sure.
And then it came in a plain brown box. Would you care?
No.
Right.
No.
If you had ordered a Mother's Day box with everything inside of it, you know, a mug, a shirt, a necklace, and it had a beautiful pink box with decorations on it, and that came in a brown box, would you care?
Now I'm going to care.
You're going to care, of course.
Absolutely.
So commoditized items, we don't care about too much, and no one's going to. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, and we're going to type in white box. I go with the white box all the time. We could do a black box. We could do, pick a color. Give me a color.
No, I like the white box because I want to see how it looks against the back.
Give me a color.
Okay, all right, let's go with we're talking Mother's Day. Let's go with the pink box.
Pink box can be a little polarizing.
I know. Okay, well, maybe that's a little too much. No, but maybe it's good. Okay, well,
let's go with the blue box.
Let's go blue is Father's Day.
Okay.
Right? So maybe you know, you're the
I never get anything.
chef in the house. I know, but
nothing. So Canva has a ton of, you always want to go to photos, not graphics for this kind of stuff. Graphics is going to give you stylized stuff that's really artsy.
Mm-hmm.
Photos is going to give you the real kind of tangible box. Now, sometimes you'll find that they don't have a good enough one. We may have to default to white. So we'll go to white. We'll have to go with that. But there's a lot of things you could do with just a white box. This is my go-to one that I always use. And if you don't want to keep it like stark white like this, I'll show you what you can do to make it a little bit better. So you kind of pull it in like this, hit that background remover, and now we have a box. So what you can do here is you can edit it. And maybe if you don't want it stark white, you can run some filters on it. So here's where you can start to change it. So if we want to make it a little bit pinky, a little bit, hey, we have our blue. So now we win. So now we can use this, right? So don't just think because something's stark white that you can't tune it up a little bit. Go in for a tune-up. Everyone check your mileage on your cars. You're probably due for an oil change right now. I guarantee you. So taking a look at this, right? Let me move this element out of the way so we can work a little bit, get the whisk out of here. So now let's go back to that listing and see. What can we extract from this to put? So it's a 3-piece, a 3-pack, stainless steel, whisk for blending, whisking, beading, enhanced version for balloon wire. I don't even know what that is. So we understand that it's a whisk, right? And it's a 3-pack and it's stainless steel.
And it has the sizes, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch of the three themselves.
Very good. So not to be confused with 8 plus 10 plus 12, that would make it like a 30-inch. That'd be a very big whisk. So what we want to do is go back here, and now we want to optimize this. So grab some text. I always like to go with, do you know my favorite go-to text, my go-to font? I say it all the time.
I don't actually.
Well, shame on you. League Spartan.
League Spartan. Okay.
So League Spartan is, again, make it on brand for you, but you want to make it very basic, very simple. So again, people aren't going to say, why didn't it come in this magnificent Harry Potter invitation box, right? So you always want to do all caps. You know why? You're not screaming at people, but it just looks more.
No, it's more bold. It stands out.
It looks just more uniform, right? And
Sure.
you don't have to sit there and type everything, in caps. Canva has a great tool over here where I can just go uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, uppercase. Good. So now what we can do here is we can start to build out what we want to talk about. So if we're doing a whisk, stainless whisk set, right? So let's do stainless steel whisk set, right? So bring it over here like this, make this way bigger, bring this up here towards the top. We're going to align it to the left because we want it to look we want it to look natural. We don't want it to look like
you just dropped a text box.
Some wacko in Canva made it, right?
Sure.
So go here, and then there's a lot of little tricks you can do to make it look more natural. So pulling it together, the line spacing, right? So it looks a little bit more uniform. Another big tip is transparency. Drilling down transparency between 70 and 80%. It helps it look a little bit more, hey, I'm there,
Yep.
So
again, it doesn't look like it was just set in on top of it. Yeah. It's not such a hard contrast.
Yeah. So let me pull this back a little bit. I want a little bit more room. Okay, cool. So we have this. And what we're going to do, it looks wacky now, but
we'll get there.
Stay with me.
Work in progress. I'm with you.
So now we're going to do, so we have what the item is. So now what we're going to do is what's the value prop? So it's 3-piece set. So you can go to Canva. Now we're going to go to graphics and you just type in the number 3.
You just want a number. Yeah.
I just want a number.
A nice
right?
number 3.
I like going with these round ones, but you could do whatever you want that's on your brand, but don't do stuff like this, all right? Because it's not going to resonate with everyone. That's a universal product. And people might think, oh, I like how it looks and I'm going to want that box. Go with really, do you remember no frills in the supermarket?
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole aisle was like black and white.
It was, yeah. It's just like plain boxes.
That's it.
You knew what product you wanted.
Keep it no frills.
No
okay?
frills.
So going down here, we're going to do this. Okay. We're going to do 3. And we're going to still affect the transparency. So bring it down to like that. And then I'm going to take this because I already have it, bring it down here, and we're going to do piece set. Very simple. We're saying it's a 3-piece set.
Got it.
Now, a lot of this is going to get blocked because we're bringing the product back over it, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Because you're still seeing it.
Since we removed the background.
Yes.
Got it.
So 3-piece set. Okay. So we're doing something like this. And now what we can do is over here in the middle, we're going to say, make this font a little bit smaller because that's too much, right? And we're going to say, make this a little bullet point action. And we're going to say for blending, whisking, beating. Sounds dangerous. Blending, let me move this down so I can see it. Blending, whisking, beating. Because we want to talk to people very clearly about what they can do with it. If you don't know what to do with a whisk, stay tuned. But no, you should know what to do with a whisk. You have no business buying a whisk if you don't know what you're doing with it. You need a license for a whisk, at least in Texas. So coming down here, we're going blending, whisking, beating, right? Still same transparency down here. No, that's too much. Like this. So now we're building out that packaging. So this is going to be very clear. You don't have to guess why, what is it, how many pieces. Now, you can also go a little bit further and talk about the size, right? That might be a little too much. It might be hard to read from the SERP.
Yeah.
We can test it out and see. But I think already we have something really good compared to what's current right now. So if I go here, now what I often like to do is not make it look too fancy, but if I just type in whisk, you're going to see this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay because you could take this, flip it horizontally, right? Make it like off the product, like off the box like this. Make it a little bit smaller. Or actually, you know what? Maybe we'll do bowls, mixing bowls, right? Because that's associating
with whisk. Yeah. You're going to be using it in combination.
Not mixing vowels. We don't.
Nope.
That sounds.
Spelling is important. Absolutely.
Sounds crazy. So something like this would be really interesting on this, right? So coming down here, and now you see we're building out. You won't have to second guess what we're looking at right here.
Right.
Tone down this. Okay, great. So we've built out the packaging. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and take all of these elements right here, and we're going to group them together. Do you know why?
So when you move them, you don't lose something. Yep.
You're a Canva pro, man.
So
now
novice, but I get it.
Now we got this working for us, right? So now I could bring this back in. Oh no, that doesn't work. What do we do now? Oh, okay.
You need to
bring it forward.
Bring it forward.
That's it. Super simple. You don't have to be the guru Godi of Photoshop to do this kind of stuff, right? So now what I'm doing is I'm looking for a good position for it, right? What's great about this product is you can see through it. So we have that going for us. You can see straight through the product. But you can see stainless steel, whisk set, blending, whisking, beating. You're seeing it in motion. We understand what it is. Yes, the 3-piece is blocked out a little bit. I can move that this way so that's not being seen.
You still get it. I see 3-piece set. I see the 3 context clues. You're getting me there.
So let's make this a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Let's bring this down over here. Okay. I like that. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's a huge improvement off of where we were starting.
I'm glad you said that because if you didn't like it, we're still going with it anyway.
I agree.
So let's download this. Canva, if you're watching this, you owe me lots of money in sponsorship and affiliate and a Tesla. So we're going to say whisk, download. We have people chatting over here.
I was looking at this. I've never seen John Aspinall and Brandon Bass in the same room as Batman and Robin.
Oh.
I'm not saying we're Batman and Robin, but you've never seen us together.
And I'm not saying I'm Robin. So
I feel like since I'm shorter by default, that's what was assumed. And I don't know how I feel about all that.
I stopped sharing my screen for a second. Hold on. Let me go back to this and share my screen, because all this technology in the Jungle Scout studios is getting me jammed up. I'm just kidding. Okay. So what I need to do is take this off for a second. And while I'm doing this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download the other image. I'm going to get the PickFu poll started. And while I'm doing that, you want to talk a little bit about Jungle Scout?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What we might do with some of this. So obviously, if you've heard of Jungle Scout, we do data analytics for Amazon. And specifically where I work with Jungle Scout is on our Cobalt side for enterprise businesses. And one of the things we were talking about is how you might leverage this, at that level, right? Large product catalog, being able to go in and refine some of your product imaging to really drill into that CTR and CVR type of metric to really maximize your coverage in a category, get in front of the right consumer group and do all that. And then in Jungle Scout, what we'll be able to do is to track that performance. So you'd be able to integrate your data sets and track performance and make annotations and notes. So you'd be able to see, well, we went in and PickFu, because we're using that as a verb now. We PickFu'd this product on XYZ date. And this is what we changed, right? The image, the title, yada, 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 based off of what PickFu's polls were giving us, based off of what we saw in data from Jungle Scout and from some of the tools we have there. And this is the day we made a change. And we've got this really nice time series chart that we can super customize, very flexible, to be able to track that. And so we have a very clear line in the sand before and after. So John has ABT, always be testing. I'm borrowing his ABT, and we're going to call it always be tracking, because you have to know how you've been doing, how you're continuing to do, so you can start to forecast how you might do in the future. And we know I say might because lots of variables. You have to keep your finger on the pulse and continually track that.
I'm saying hi to my wife. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, all good.
Yeah, no, listen, it's, you will be hearing from my attorneys though. And pick ABT.
I haven't seen it branded anywhere yet. I'm just saying.
I
heard about it this week.
The shirts are in the mail.
The shirts are in the
So
just strongly word to email us in your inbox.
Don't doubt it, Jungle Scout it. Oh, Adrian, that's good with the kapow on the end. I didn't do a thumbs down. Apple, did I do a thumbs down? That was a subconscious thumbs down on the slogan for Jungle Scout.
You must have made a hand gesture or something.
I did not. There's a conspiracy here. We'll figure it out. But guys, I have the poll built out over here. So let's take a look at this. Where's my mouse?
Other monitor.
There we go. I lost the mouse for a second. Professional. So we're in PickFu building out the poll. If you're shopping on Amazon, which product image would you click on and why? So we took the competitor, which was just plain aroni and cheese.
Yep, the image they already have.
That's it.
Well with it.
And we took one, we jazzed it up a little bit. That's another slogan that I've coined. Jazz it up. So coming down here, we're doing a head-to-head, right? Mm-hmm. And we're doing a sample size. So we can go all the way from 15 to 500. So you might want to do 500 for something like this. If you're more enterprise and you really want to reach a lot of people, do 500. But most folks are between the 30 and 50 to really give you that substance and context.
So, I think what something that would be a factor for that too is speed, right? How fast do you need some insight?
Well, that's
right?
it.
Because 30 will get back pretty quick, but 500, you got to give it. You have to. I hate to say assume, but you could infer that it might take a little longer to get that many results.
Well, here's the thing, right? So if you do 500,
right,
and you don't do any traits and you target no one and it's a random audience, it's going to come back quicker than 100 person that's very much targeted. So it's all relative, right?
Yeah, but that feels almost like bidding on a keyword that's like shampoo, and everybody and their mom might search shampoo. That's not really what they're looking for. They're looking for dry shampoo or shampoo for curly hair. Or, You know what I mean? You're getting in front of the people, but is it the right people? And the reason I say that is you get in front of the wider audience of everybody. It might not really be your consumer group. So maybe your feedback is skewed. So also something to consider, like from the filtering perspective.
Yeah.
We talked a bit about this earlier in the week, narrowing it down to be more specific, to get a better pulse check.
Sure.
From a more targeted group that would actually be paying attention to this.
I feel a little triggered that you reference shampoo and I'm a bald man. Is it because you have long, luscious hair and I'm bald? I mean, I don't.
I just got it shaved yesterday. I was trying to copy your look, but I still have the mohawk.
It's yeah, we're gonna keep going past that because that was a little rough for me. Yeah. So there's lots of traits you could drill down. I think there's like 90 plus. So right off the rip, you're going to want to do Amazon Prime member, right? Because we're on Amazon talking about that kind of cool stuff.
Sure.
But you can go down to pet owner, gender identity, age range, ethnicity, political affiliation, election year. All right, we're not going to talk about that. All this other kind of cool stuff, right? So if you don't know, you could come down here and you could say cooking, Oh, interested in cooking. Don't really cook. Will only cook out of necessity. That sounds like me.
That sounds like a ramen noodle kind of thing.
What do you mean DoorDash is down? I guess I have to cook out of necessity. Or avid home cook, right? Or hobbies and interests, just cooking, right?
Mhm.
So I can go with this and I could say cooking, right? Because, interest in cooking, I just want to go generalized cooking, right? I don't want to do avid home cook because this might be someone that might be like a Wolfgang Puck and wants some high-end falutin, $100 whisk.
This $7.99 whisk is not their wheelhouse.
So they're going to be like, no
I don't
way,
want
man.
this, no
So
way.
we'll just do cooking right here and prime, right?
Okay.
So coming down here, it's going to say it's very specific. It's not very specific, but based on cooking, right? If I remove cooking from the equation, it just didn't repopulate. But for speed, because we're on a live podcast right now, being watched by millions, we actually just exceeded or surpassed Joe Rogan as far as listeners and viewers, which is a great accomplishment.
That's awesome. I don't quite believe it, but I want to.
That's okay. You can pick for it. So we're going to go with Amazon Prime member right now, but just understand, when you have the time, you can drill down specifically, right? So we're going to review the poll down here. You can go here and hit preview poll so you can see what it's going to look like. One thing that people brought to my attention was, okay, if this one's first and this one's second, out of everyone, they might gravitate to the ones that's first. That was a good question. I didn't know the answer to until I actually spoke to our team. It rotates for every person. It doesn't say
every
the
time
same.
we've looked at this, it's different how it how it sets it up. But that does make sense though, because A, B, or left to the right, I naturally scans left to right. So it does make sense. Why it's also important. Top of search, front left corner box, first thing you see. We give that. We have a natural bias to give that more value than, the product at the end of the row.
Yeah. So we're going to let that run for a second, but I think that's super important. I did a LinkedIn post about that recently, that angles are important, or as my phone thinks, angels are important.
I saw that post,
because I can't really spell that well. Funny story, I was actually in a spelling bee when I was like in the 4th grade, and I schooled my whole entire class, and then I went to like the next division for like other schools, and I thought I was hot, you know what?
Yeah.
So they said, when we ring the bell, that means you got it wrong, and please exit to the right. So I got up there, and I was the first person, and the first word that I got was business. And I went up there with as much gusto and machismo, and I said, BUISNESS. And I started to walk back. I heard the bell, and it didn't click to me. And they were like, nope, that's not how you spell it. Please walk over here. And I was like, wait, how do you spell it? That's busyness. So I will never forget how to spell business. But
sorry, as you're giving me that story, I'm a fan of the show Psych from back in the day. And one of the episodes is they go to a spelling bee, and Sean is giving Gus such a hard time because he was helping him, and he submarined him on purpose to give him the word wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I couldn't send you to high school as a spelling bee champ. I was just trying to help you.
That's funny. Yeah, like that's I don't know. I will never get that word wrong. What's another word that I typically get wrong? Oh, conscious. Or like you're I don't know how to spell that. So I look for different words that are like
that represent consciousness.
Siri, what's a different word for conscious or consciousness? Don't ask me why I'm spelling consciousness a lot. That sounds crazy. So we have it running right here. We got some more responses coming in. So I'm going to add this back over here. So give me my mouse. So you can see over here, we already have 13 respondents answering. Ooh, I can't believe there's some people going for the one without the packaging, but we're still winning 6-2. And you can see down here in the insights as to why. So this is, I prefer A. B makes it too hard to focus on the actual whisks. Why are you focusing on the whisks? Just buy them.
They pretty much look the same all the time. I mean, visually.
Yeah. Option A gets the point across. I like the box in option B, but not its placement. The box in B should be lower. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good information.
That's good to know. Yeah.
So if we want to do another iteration of this, maybe I'll put the box lower. But the folks that liked it said, I prefer, maybe I should make this a little, I should zoom in. Let me zoom. Like the old Mazda commercial. Remember that?
I do.
Zoom. Jake, you remember the Mazda commercial? Zoom.
Oh, yeah. Zoom.
I thought you were too young for that.
When I fire up my Mazda Speed, it says it across the dash. Zoom.
All right.
I just was telling you, I know what you're talking about. I live that.
So like seeing the packaging, the background looks more professional, tells me more about the product, shows the box, seeing the description. So we got some more responses. Let's see. Oh, I thought this was going to be Landslide City, population 1. And people are coming up and saying,
I feel like the box behind looking through is what's throwing those people off. And if
the box in the background looks cluttered, doesn't provide any meaningful information. Well, it kind of does.
That's debatable.
The bow box with B would normally be a good idea, but I think the box behind the product makes it harder to see the whisks. I like A. I like being able to see the whisks. The words on B are distracting. With a household item, I don't need to see what it's called. Okay, but then why are people liking this? Tells me it's stainless steel and that it's a set. I like how option B has the product package with a 3-whisk set, stainless steel. I'm not sure what A is. That's a good point because I'm saying it's stainless steel. This might be aluminum.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not specific at all. It could be anything.
Tinfoil. Hopes and dreams. I don't know what it's made out of, right? So you could see the speed. We already have 20 respondents answering. We're losing some ground share here. So really don't need to see the packaging. I prefer to see the whisks unobscured. Okay, so we got some good stuff from this, right? So we could have gotten at least 2 or 3 back from this one over here if we would have moved the packaging down. Mm-hmm. But we're still winning 9-6. We're not winning by a landslide, but we still have more people coming in over here. We got 4 responses. Let's see.
Would there also be a value in maybe taking the whisks themselves on our updated image and sizing them down just slightly so you can still see them, but they're not as prevalent? I'm just curious.
So if anything, we would make the packaging smaller. Okay. We don't want to make the product smaller because then it looks like it's a miniature, like the order from Temu.
Oh.
So we're 13-9. The whisks are more visually appealing. It's displayed by themselves. Option A isn't obscured. It clearly shows the products. It's hard to read, but then we come down here. It's appealing. The box. It's clear. It's easy to use and durable. So some good takeaways that we got from this. And remember, we did a broad, just Amazon Prime.
Sure.
So if you look at the people that are giving the feedback that maybe you don't like because you're like, screw you. If we take a look at the feedback, right, if it makes it hard to focus on the whisks. So this is a female, 35 to 44, over 100K income range, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's not the demographic.
Right.
So we might be getting feedback and responses from people that aren't the demographic. So you have to see and understand. That's why you have to ABT, always be testing, because, okay, we see this now. Maybe we want to focus on, a different type of demographic. So let's go down and see here. So female, 55 to 64, 0 to 30K. I like the box, but not the placement. So clearly she likes the box, but just the orientation needs to be lower. That's good feedback. Yeah. We like that. This one, 0 to 30K female, it's distracting. Okay, so that's conflicting between the two. Let's see down here. So this is male, 55 to 64, 31 to 60K. Now he's saying it's more visual appealing. So maybe it's females that are the ICP in the avatar we're going after. Mm-hmm. So if we ran it again, we would just do females. We wouldn't focus on the males. But let's go up here because we have some more stuff coming in. I think we're at 25. So we're almost done here. So we're still winning.
Yeah, that's what it's been. Less than 10 minutes total.
Less than 10 minutes. I mean,
that's super fast.
So we're still winning, right? But it's not like Dom Toretto says a win is a win. What did he say? Is a win?
Oh, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile?
Yeah, winning's winning, right?
Winning's winning.
Dom Toretto might be right with that. That's a Fast and Furious quote. Go look that up. But you still want to take the information here and test again. So we got some good kind of nuggets from this that we would potentially move the product packaging down, but still we're winning, right? So we can gain back some market share from this one by repositioning and changing things around, or maybe even doing another option where we're putting the size, like you had said before. So maybe we would opt out for the blending, whisking, beating and go for
8-inch,
10-inch, 12-inch, because that's saying something that you might not know. So that's another PickFu test that you'd want to check and see.
And if we did 8-inch, 12-inch, even in the bulleted format, it's going to be smaller, so it's not going to be overlapping the whisk as much. And we might immediately make it feel, because you can see that smaller text does seem pretty busy because that's also a lot of wires in the whisk. So that might be an easy way to quickly make the view a little bit more easy to look into.
So if I go here, right, let's just play around with this for a second while that's finishing up. If I go here to hit ungroup, right, so maybe I want to say let's say 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, right?
Right.
So now we're giving that value prop still, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not obscuring anything. So we can.
What happens if we move the box down too? Like to look at
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah. So we could take this right here. Let's group it again. Move the box down like this.
We lost the bowl.
We lost the bowl.
I'm just saying. Trying to help you out here.
Did you do that?
No. You just didn't grab the bowl.
Very unprofessional.
Control Z.
No. I want to make it. I want to make it right. So let's do this. Okay. Beautiful. So now you could do something like this, right? But now we're picking and choosing which words we're blocking out.
Mm-hmm.
So what we can do is I can say, okay, 3-piece set. And if we're doing a positioning like this, right, I can go back here, ungroup this, and I can take 3-piece set and make this smaller. And what I could even do is put it like this.
Again, pushing it to the left side.
Pushing it to the left
side.
side.
We know that the images are covering more to the right.
Right. So do something like this. Okay. Group them. No, get out of here, you. Sometimes I talk to my Canva elements. Don't judge me.
Silently judging.
So something like this, you can see it's still going to cover some stuff, right? But again, this is something that you may want to test now that it's lower and all that kind of good stuff. So let's go back to the PickFu. I mean, we took flight. So we're still up by 5. The whisk overlay makes it feel a bit cluttered and untidy. Okay, but I prefer B. It includes the packaging of the image, which highlights the key features, gives a complete presentation. I find it very assuring. So I think it's still a win, right? I think we could test it again, right? For the sake of time, we're not going to do it right now. But these are things that you'd want to do to test and iterate a couple times. I don't think that's right.
I don't think that's right, but I got where you're going with that.
As long as you got where we're going.
I got where you're going.
But you want to keep on testing, and this is not going to break the bank. We're not talking about focused research groups that are like $15,000 in person.
Sure.
That like Impractical Jokers, where Joe and Sal are going to prank you, and you're just looking for some feedback on your whisks. Like it's not going to happen like that.
Sure.
This is where you can actionable, executable things that you can pivot within 15 or 20 minutes for your business. Because the most important metric that you can focus on Amazon, you know what it is?
I have a feeling you're going to tell me. I have an idea. It's probably CTR, but I don't want to guess the wrong thing.
CTR, because no more click-through. No. I said no more click-through with PickFu. No, that's not that. That'd be the worst version for me to say.
Scratch that one.
More click-through with PickFu.
There
right?
you go.
Because you got to get the click. It all starts with the click. Do you know who said that?
You.
It was not
Uncle Jay. Uncle Jay.
It was not Uncle Jay.
Not Uncle Jay.
This was Mother Teresa.
Oh.
Mother Teresa said it all starts with the click.
If you can't trust Mother Teresa, I mean, who can you trust?
After her, it was Da Vinci. After that, I think
it was the Pope.
I think it was Funkmaster Flex.
Funkmaster Flex. I was going with Jam Master Jay, but okay.
All right.
We're in the same wheelhouse.
So are there any questions? Is everyone being super shy? Let's take a look and see. Shrink the Adrian's giving comments in the back end. Shrink the whisk picture so it doesn't cover the box.
I made that suggestion and I was shot down, but you and I were thinking in the same way. But maybe not the best. Comments
in the peanut gallery over here. But yeah, I mean, we're not getting a lot of questions. So there's going to be a replay for this where you're going to be kicking yourselves in the booty or the behind. Yeah, drop your questions or thoughts. Well, drop your thoughts. I don't know, Adrian, that thought. Someone's going to pontificate in the comments like, oh, the weather is hot over here.
It must be in Texas.
It's very, very hot. But I want to show you one other cool thing. Let me share my screen-a-roni again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about Canva because I always like to talk about Canva. So here's a cool thing. Let's say we want to do a lifestyle image with this, right? Let's say we're not affecting the main hero image, right? We're talking about the lifestyle image. So you can come over here, right? And what we can do is do Magic Studio. So Magic Studio has a lot of cool things over here. So I can say an image of a countertop
Yeah, kitchen countertop.
Kitchen countertop. Thank you.
Mhm.
Kitchen countertop with bowls. Okay.
All right.
And generate image. So this is kind of like Dall-E, Midjourney. Not as good as Midjourney, but
right away,
this is pretty friggin' cool.
That's right in the wheelhouse.
So if we're doing this, if you're building out an infographic, right, or something for your photo stack, move this guy down here. You could take this right here. I could do a couple things. So I could take this, I could set it as the background image like that. That looks really good. Well, I don't really know what this is, but you can always put something over it. But this AI does a really good job. So let me take a look at something else over here. Let me undo that. Oh, I don't like that right now. So if I go over here, this is interesting. It's a realistic. This doesn't look like AI really at all. This looks pretty spot on. And then what you can do inside this is you can bring the product back into this, right? Position. Nope, hold on. Oh, because it's the background. Let's say here. Detach from the background. Okay. Going to take this like this, copy, paste, and you could start to build out infographics like this. So if we're talking about, oh, your whisks are the best and all this other kind of stuff, you can do some typography inside here. So doing something like, let's set it as the background. I could hit rectangle here. It automatically defaults to that color. I don't know why. And then you're able to, because a lot of people have a hard time building out infographics, right? So let's say I want to build an infographic talking about high quality kitchen cooking stuff. This looks like a kitchen that's high quality and nice. So maybe my brand colors are like a lighter blue, right? Because that like similar to the box.
Blue box. Yeah, sure.
So let's go over here, right? And then I'll tone down the transparency like this. And now we have some, this is starting to look like an infographic. So now I can start to say whatever I want down here. I can say, what my text over here, whatever your heading is, we're going to leave it as heading because I can't think of anything, right? So going over here, putting some white font or whatever your font colors are, and boom, you have an infographic. And then over here, you can even do stuff like this, right? So in Canva, you can have frames, right? So circle frame. Have you used frames on Canva before?
No.
I'll show you. So frames are super cool because let's say I want to do this and this, right? Still have the kitchen in the background, but then what I can do is I can go to elements again and I can pull out photos of people cooking. So I could say chef. And I could do, let's say.
Is there one where somebody's whisking?
Oh, we could do whisking too. So let's do that. So let's do whisking. Here we go. So we're doing something like this, and you just drag it, and it automatically pops into that. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So I can detach the image, go over here, and then maybe I want to pull out the clear one. So now we're showcasing whisking in a nice kitchen with your tagline over here. So you don't need to pay for super expensive agencies. I mean, we love agencies, but if you can't afford them, I get it, right? So now if I was to take this, and let me detach it from the background for a second. I'm going to copy it, bring it into another window. Now, if I put it like this, there's a magic tool over here where, oops, no, it's right here, where I can do magic expand. You seen this one? Magic expand is basically going to do generative fill around all of this. So if I like that image, but I want to pull back, it's going to fill in, generatively fill in. Yeah, exactly.
Essentially widen it out to a larger kitchen view using this as your guide. Okay.
As the kids say, word.
Word.
Yeah. So
I don't know that they still say that.
Here we go. Now we have a complete view of the kitchen and a couple of different options, right? So we go over here, we go over here. Some of them look a little wacky, right? But remember, we're using this for an infographic.
Right.
Some of them are pretty good. This one looks a little bit wacky. This one looks a little wacky. But again, we're
also going to cover parts of it too, knowingly cover parts of it. So we can say, well, that looks a little off, but I'm going to drop in one of those circles.
100%.
I'm going to drop in some text across that. You won't even see it. It's going to be just part of the background.
Here's another cool thing too. Magic grab. This So this is all ways for you to use Canva with PickFu to build out these images. So let's say I like this image, but I don't like these oranges in here.
So we take them out.
One click.
And it's going to auto fill it in and just kind of, so you're not left with this gap. I mean, if it does,
it's going to detach and I can grab it. So if I wanted it and I want to put it somewhere else, it'll allow me to do that. But if I just don't want it there, it's still going to do the same thing. So watch this.
Nice.
So now, oh, it took the whole thing, sorry. But if I want that bowl there, it moves it out of there like that. So now if I go here, here's another good thing. Let's say magic edit is another good one. So I want to, let's say I don't like these grapes or the chestnuts. I don't know. So we're going to highlight this and I'm going to say bowl of fruit. So if you have an image and you have an oopsie or you have something you don't like in there and you want to put something else in there, you magic edit and you're doing that. So bowl of fruit, it just made that a fruit. So maybe I like this bowl of fruit. Maybe I like this one. This one looks a little bit more.
That one looks a little more on the right angle with what you already have there. Yeah.
This is a good one.
That's pretty good, yeah.
I mean, that's, we're going to zoom in here a second. That's pretty good, dude.
I mean, but might just move it to the right a smidge. I don't know, like, because it looks like it's kind of overlapping. I don't know, but again, I don't know that it matters enough because it's not the focus.
How about this? How about this? I'll do another one for you. Okay. So how about this? We can even go and say, we could even say frying pan on oven, on stove. This is a little risky. I don't know if this is going to do it or not.
To get one sitting in the background there?
It may just be standing it up in the middle of it in thin air. No, this one's not that bad. It kind of looks like it's just positioned over there. This one looks wacky, right? So it's not 100%, but I like how it added this one right here. So I can always go back. You don't always have to live with everything of it, right? So I can go over
take
here,
that other part of it out, right?
This piece all the way back here, and I can just take that out. Because I wanted.
And now you've got the one that's sitting on the range top now. Yeah,
right?
It looks good. Yeah.
So now that didn't look so good. But you spend a little bit more time on it, you'll be okay. You'll be, as what my grandma would say, right as rain.
Right as rain.
She never said that.
She never said that? No, but you've heard it.
Right. So these are ways you can build out infographics with Canva. Canva, I think, is like 12 or 15. It's going to get better, right? But $12 or $15 a month, I forget exactly what it is, and you're building out all of these infographics for your brand, and then you're going in PickFu and testing them as well, because you're taking the data from PickFu and understanding who the ICP is, who the avatar is. So if we're talking about a premium product, show a premium kitchen. If it's more of a moderately priced basic item, show an everyday kitchen, right?
Yeah, meet your audience where they are, for sure.
Yeah. So how do titles play in CTR? Any tips for title optimization? Is it a you question?
Yeah, that's kind of a Jungle Scout question, because we can do a lot of analysis on the market that you're in, the products that play there, what the titles consist of. We can tie that back to reviews, star ratings, a number of other data points to get some correlation to find out top driving products. What do they have consistently? What is the mix and blend of keywords and title keywords they're using? Because this is, we talk about getting on the search page, right? Share voice. You got to get the click. To get the click, you have to be visible. To be visible, you have to have the right blend of everything. And John and I talked about this a lot when we first met, about why would you do all this work, to do all this analysis and get on the search page and then not put money or effort into getting the right image? Because at the end of the day, we're visual buyers, right? We were talking about this. We look at the image first, then the title, then the price, right? The three
image, the trifecta.
The trifecta.
The Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle of Amazon, but the image being first. So Jungle Scout can bring a lot of data together to help fill in the title, the bullet features, description, get that right blending. And then you go and pick through that last piece of the puzzle, and now you have the complete package. And I think a lot of businesses miss one or two of those steps. The title is slightly off. More often than not, the images aren't quite where they need to be because they're focusing on other pieces of it. But small seller, large global brand, massive agency, we all have the same goals, right?
Yeah.
We want to do more business, want to do it better, more efficiently. And what we know at the end of the day, and I love a lot of the things we looked at, I'm a big fan of this quote, right? big doors swing on little hinges, right? It's the little small things that make the massive shifts, right? Largest safe in the world, largest vault, massive door. The hinges compared to the door are very small, but they're crucial. And if you make adjustments there, it really impacts everything else. So even these small things, right? Like shift it up, shift it down. That's pretty small in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
But the impact from the click through and the conversion side could be massive.
Compounding.
That one small thing that differentiates you in your image, in your title, in your bullet features, in your enhanced A+ content. We didn't even talk about that. That's where it's at. Like it's the devil is in the details. You can't hammer that enough. And you got to have great tools to be able to find those, right?
So you had said big doors swing on little hinges.
Maybe it's small hinges swing big doors. I may have got it backwards.
Small hinges swing big doors. So what does it look like if a large hinge swings a small door? Just silly?
You would say, okay, this is a good analogy, right? What if you put a ton of work into the hinge, but it's not getting you any results, the little door? You don't have a big door to need that, right? So you're maybe putting effort in the wrong places. And how often do you see that? People put a ton of time, effort, energy, money into a part of their Amazon business. It doesn't really impact the business at that scale.
Yeah.
For what the ROI or whatever business verbiage you want to throw around, the juice isn't worth the squeeze kind of mentality.
It's a lot of door talk.
Yeah. Sorry.
Cue the Doors music.
He didn't
cue the Doors music.
He was not ready with the people are strange.
We don't want to get a YouTube strike. But see here, to answer the question right about title, when we look here, if you front load in your title the biggest value prop, you can see where it gets cut off. So where it says enhanced version, right? Whisk for cooking. I see in this title before it gets cut off that this is a 3-pack. I don't see that this is a 3-pack over here. So from a CTR perspective, I'm seeing in that title what the first half of it is, what the value prop is. Even though this one says 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, it could be options. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily all included inside of it, but this one's clearly saying that it's a 3-pack. It's saying stainless steel. This one's stainless steel here, but it's saying it's a 3-pack. It's showing blending, beating, whisking, stirring. This is just saying whisk. They put the different variation of spelling whisk, which I don't recommend to do. If you do typos or anything like that, put them in alt text behind your photos.
Behind the scenes, yeah, for sure. Now, we recommend definitely doing that. Have the misspelled foreign language versions, those kind of things for sure, but not front facing, because you still want to have a professional looking listing, right? No matter what size you are in market. Because that's the first thing you see, and we're super judgy as consumers anyway. No. And if we're like, oh God, they misspelled that in the title, we're gonna judge you so hard.
And I'm not gonna buy.
I'm not gonna buy.
And if I don't click, I'm not buying. So, dude, we're at time I think right now, but it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, super fun hanging out. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Thank you for having me in Texas. I mean, we went out to barbecue last night. Jake, I put away some good barbecue, right? I packed it away.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you guys go? Cooper's. Okay. Oh yeah.
Cooper's, if you're watching this, you also owe me some money as well for that sponsorship. Yes,
you can pay that in barbecue.
No.
Okay.
Money. But yeah, guys, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure next time you're watching the replay, catch us again. We're going to be doing it every week for the most part on Thursdays at noon Eastern, 11 Central. What is that for? Is it 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific, 5 Hawaii time? I don't know. There's something like that. You click on it below. You'll find us. But yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.